What's up, guys? Welcome back. So let's talk about what's happening in Arkansas again because it's getting worse, right? Reports say that by 2027, a quarter of farmers in Arkansas could be completely out of business. I mean, imagine building your whole life around your land, your crops, your animals, and then being told, sorry, you're not going to make it that long. Crazy, right? But then imagine if it was all your fault. Anyways, let's keep watching and we'll be back for some commentary.
Guess who just got the tea about what's going over on MAGA sides, specifically with the farmers in Arkansas? Child, them Trump tariffs is kicking their asses so bad that at the most recent NEA meeting representative assembly that took place on Friday, the farmers in Arkansas all collectively broke down in prayer. They started calling on to God. They started calling on to God because they cannot trust that Donald Trump is actually going to keep his word. See, the big beautiful bill, which a lot of these Arkansas farmers voted for, and the Trump administration is currently renaming because it did not accurately describe what was in the bill, promised a lot of the people in the agriculture industry benefits that a lot of these businesses will not live to see as they all take effect in 2026, 2027. Late 2026 and early 2027 to be exact. But like I stated, a lot of those businesses will not be around long enough to see it come into fruition. Apparently, around that time, a quarter of the farming industry in Arkansas will be out of business. And y'all already know that I always come with the evidence. I always have the clip, so stay tuned for the clip provided by ABC7.
The government steps in to save them. Farmers had no one to turn to but God. It's all they're closer to daily movements on the server because we daily hear earth every day. You know, we're hurting anymore. We can't deal with what's happening to us.
Dear Lord, we are hurting here, Lord. We can't help what has happened to us. You actually could have helped it because you could have voted against it. Y'all could have voted for Kamala, but like you stated, she has a weird laugh. And here's a screenshot of the article. You can go and find it. Let's read along to the title. People have little sympathy for the Arkansas farmers who are asking Trump for emergency funding to save their farms. And because they can't trust on Trump to actually come through with these emergency funds, they started praying. I probably should have highlighted what I'm about to read, but it's in quotations at the top. It says, I have never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on. Welcome to the mentality of the average Black American here. Welcome to the mentality of the average Hispanic Latino person here. Welcome to the mentality of the average marginalized group member here in America. And to think that all of this could have been avoided, had you just listened to those same marginalized groups, if you would have just listened to the Black Americans here in this country, to the 92%, if you would have just listened. And now, ironically, the same tool that you used to oppress the marginalized groups in this country, the Black Americans in this country, the formerly enslaved people of America, religion, Christianity, prayer, is now the only tool that you can rely on because you can't trust in your government to look out for you. You can't trust in your government to help you. How fucking ironic. And just a reminder, because I know y'all like to forget, right? Anytime, historically speaking, by the way, the Black Americans of this country stated that they needed help, they wanted to be treated fairly, they wanted equality, you told them to pray harder. You sent them to church. You told them to pray harder. That if it's really meant for them, all they had to do was pray harder and God was going to hear them. So that's my advice to you, you farmers in Arkansas. Pray harder, okay? Just keep praying. However, I do have a strong inkling that we are not praying to the same gods. I know the God that I pray to. There's only one. I don't know what you're praying to, but pray harder, okay? God bless America.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
We made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
I don't care. I hope your farm goes under. I hope a big corporation buys it. And then I hope you have to work that farm on pennies on the dollar. Because there are people who are really suffering today who got thrown off of some social programs and are going to get thrown off of social programs for the next 2 years because of what you voted for. There's going to be hospitals that are going to be closing. You know, I'm contributing to the problem myself. When I go to the store, I turn my milk around. I buy Maple Hill. It's from Kinderhook, New York. I'm not buying milk from anywhere else. My dairy, Cabot, Vermont. My cheeses, my sour cream, my butter, Cabot. My eggs come from California. I never checked on where my products came from. I cared about quality. I cared about price. Now I'm checking. And I'm only buying it from the states that matter. Because Arkansas, Nebraska, you don't matter. You don't matter. You're not special. You wanted to vote for this? You wanted to fuck around? Here you are finding out. Because you all bitched when Joe Biden wanted to help millions of people on student loans. And they would have gotten jobs in the United States, paid taxes in the United States, spent that money in the United States economy. But no. Nope. That was government waste. And now you're asking for handouts to save your family farm? Fuck you. You don't matter. You're not special. You're not special at all. Okay? My sympathy is elsewhere. My sympathy is for people who need some of these programs, who are getting thrown off of some of these programs. Pick up a book and learn how you just voted against your own interest. And if you still don't get it, you still don't understand, the rest of us are not going to hold your hand. We're not going to wait for you. Okay? Figure it the fuck out. Because you caused other people to really suffer. And then you got the balls to put your hand out and ask for a handout to save your farm. Your hatred is so deep that you supported shutting down USAID. That stimulated the U.S. farming economy while also feeding people who were starving. Oh, yeah, but now I have to care that you're going to lose your family farm.
Hundreds of struggling Arkansas farmers pleading for emergency federal funding amid a farm economy crisis.
And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations.
Sounds to me like a bunch of welfare queens boo-hooing for a handout. Wah. Give me money. Give me money. What do you think, money grows on trees? You need to find those bootstraps and tug real hard. Frankly, I think it's in God's will. It was put on my heart that the Lord needed to take away your farm because you are a dumb fuck. You literally got everything you voted for. You're a hypocrite, you're an idiot, and I'm glad you're losing your farm. You need to learn a lesson. This is natural selection at work. Soon enough, a huge corporation is going to buy your farmland, and maybe you can come back and pick those crops, you know? Out in the sun all day long, hands bleeding. I see that in your future and it makes me very happy. And I'm not the only one.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now.
And shut your bitch ass up too. Where do y'all get off on the audacity to have a moral compass now that you done fucked over the country? Hell yeah, nobody don't have no empathy for farmers, especially these farmers in Arkansas, because they overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Overwhelmingly voted for Trump. And you think we supposed to have some type of empathy for you? You think we supposed to give a shit? Hell no. Again, And it's crazy because like I'm seeing a whole bunch of white men come on here, and I'm seeing people talk about how oh my God, I'm gonna have to declare bankruptcy. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. You probably won't, because you only cared about yourself. You only gave a damn about yourself. And now that you're getting hit, now it's why we can't come together? Why we can't? No, nobody want to hear that now. Right now, no. Racism is expensive, bro. And a lot of y'all white people thought ain't no way that Trump's gonna do. And a lot of y'all thought ain't no way Trump gonna do this to my white ass. Ain't no way. Trump would never do this to me. He's doing it to you right now. He's doing it to you right now.
We're just absolutely fucked as farmers, guys. Everything is so fucked, and I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not fucking buy it. And they are the only country in the world they are the only country in the world that buys splorn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it and blowing it on the fucking ground because it's fucking useless. It's valueless. There's nothing I can fucking do to it. I am going to need government assistance to make it through this fucking crisis until these tariffs end. Look, I've never raised a splorn crop like this, guys. And this is just fucking heartbreaking to me. I don't know how I'm going to survive. You know, Trump said he fucking loved us farmers, and here I am just blowing my splorn crop all over the ground. Hopefully he works the deal out where Antarctica and Mars will start buying this splorn and save the farm.
Wait a minute. So farmers are suing Trump because they want their stimulus checks back. Oh, no. Y'all voted for this, remember? Elections have consequences, baby. So here's the tea. Joe Biden and Congress put grants together to give money to farmers. Trump gets in, and what does he do? Cuts contracts, snatches the money, and leaves the farmers high and dry. But now the same folks who cheered him on are like, we want our money. Now let's connect the dots real quick on something. For decades, farmers have been living on government handouts, billions in subsidies to keep their farms afloat, while some of those same farmers turn around and point their fingers at families on food stamps. And they have the nerve to call them welfare queens. Nah, let's call it what it is. The biggest welfare queens in American society are wearing overalls, not wigs and heels. And here's the irony. Farmers love to preach about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, guess what, farmers? Take your own advice. If you can't sustain your farm without taxpayer bailouts, maybe farming ain't your ministry, boo. Because my tax dollars and your tax dollars shouldn't be propping up businesses that can't sustain on their own. So no, farmers shouldn't get a dime. Elections have consequences, and farmers are finally feeling it. What do you think? So should we keep footing the bill for people who keep vilifying other people who depend on assistance? Or is it finally time that farmers actually live by their own rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to hear if y'all truly are done funding America's real welfare queens.
You get what you vote for. You know, you were okay with hurting other people, but you're not okay when it's you. Fuck around and find out. All those sorts of things. And you know, it's not that those sentiments are invalid. I mean, here you have a group of people who overwhelmingly shake their fist at socialist policies, Marxist policies, which of course they don't know what those are, while at the same time they've got their hand out. They are furious at black and brown people living off government welfare. But here, you know, they expect it, which is the epitome of white supremacist, white privilege, you know, resenting other people for needing what you think you're entitled to. But I think, you know, I have got to try to move beyond those sorts of resentful sentiments because I'm a Christian. And Jesus, the gospel says that when Jesus saw the crowds, he had compassion and pity for them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. Sheep are stupid animals that are pretty much incapable of thinking for themselves. They need somebody watching out for them. Trump has preyed upon the stupidity and the ignorance and the racism of people like these farmers in Arkansas. And it doesn't excuse their ignorance. It certainly doesn't excuse their racism. There should be consequences. But at the same time, these people have been exploited and manipulated, and now they are hurting. And I feel like there's got to be still room for compassion and empathy, even though it certainly does not come natural to me.
Saying they have never seen it this bad. There was a farmer who's in his 39th season of farming, and he says he has never seen it this bad. He literally said, Donald Trump, you said you love us, but I'm not seeing the fruits of your love. What the fuck? Arkansas farmers, and they're saying, of course, it's affecting everywhere else. We saw Nebraska was having problems, facing bankruptcy. Farmers across this country are facing a huge pinch, and a lot of it has to do with Donald Trump and his policies. Well, you should have thought about that, farmers for Trump, when you went into the voting booth and places like Arkansas, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska went ruby ass red in 2024 in November. You guys made your bed, you fucked around, and now you're finding out. So yeah, the fruits of Donald Trump's love are rotten pieces of shit. If you didn't know that going in, you know it now. So as your farm continues to struggle and you're looking for a socialist handout, why don't you try pulling yourself up by your bootstraps that you preach to everybody else about and do something about it? Because frankly, the rest of the country doesn't give a damn anymore. You should have thought about that before you sold the rest of us down the river.
Like, not only did they fail an open book test, we gave them the answers. They don't like politicians and they wanted small government, so they hired a reality star who ran, 4 casinos into the ground. That's like hiring Guy Fieri to run an airport. Actually, that's a bad comparison because Guy Fieri was actually a good businessman. Trump ran casinos into the ground. And I don't know if you know much about casinos, but they're not typically a business that doesn't make money. It's literally where people go to throw their money away. But no, they were always saying, Trump's a businessman, he'll fix the economy. Yeah, and Jeffrey Dahmer was a chef, but you don't invite him to dinner. They wanted a straight shooter. Congrats, you got one. And he shot you straight in the face and then blamed it on China. You'd hear them say, we need to go back to the way America used to be. Yeah, you did. Now your farm's gonna be auctioned off like it's 1932. I mean, you brought back full Depression-era cosplay. But I mean, hey, one woman's emails were too fishy and the other one's laugh was weird, right?
The kicker is that they were banking on that farm bill that Trump bragged about, but the benefits won't even hit until most of them, their businesses are gone, right? These families, right? They put their trust in him. They voted for him overwhelmingly. And now they're realizing promises don't fill silos. Tariffs, tax cuts for the rich, and broken deals are leaving them high and dry. And I get it, right? Losing your livelihood is heartbreaking. But this is also a reminder that leadership decisions always hit regular people first. Once again, the working class pays the price while politicians keep it moving. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Disclaimer, this is for commentary, not professional advice. Okay? As usual, I'll see you on my next one, right? See ya.